Phenomena. Do 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 do. Phenomena. Do 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 do.
Phenomena?
It's the Muppets.
What's phenomena?
Oh my God! You don't know that from the Muppets?
Is that the
That's the Muppets.
It's been a while since I watched the Muppets.
But that's like classic. Phenomena. Do 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 do. Phenomena.
Okay.
Do do do.
Do you ever do that while engaging in intercourse? Have you ever got on top of Adonis and just been all phenomena? That's a challenge. That's a challenge right now. You got to get on top and be like, "Ooh, baby, I love you. Ooh, I love you." And then just when he like starts to look like he might nut, just all of a sudden start going,
that would
phenomena.
That would so kill it.
Come on. Come on. If you're going to bring up the Muppets, you know that we got to sexualize it.
You started with the that just popped in my head, literally. I mean, I haven't seen that in months.
Well, I guess we better just light this fuse and start this rocket.
Alrighty then.
1, 2, 3, 4. Do you feel your sex life is quite lame? Perverted Podcast. Scared that your desires might be strange? Perverted Podcast. Come and join the kinky world of play. Perverted Podcast.
Right in like a Muppet. Hello and welcome to Perverted Podcast, the show where we explore the adventures of the kinky lifestyle, sex, and the human mind.
Recording on Zencaster, where my give a fuck broke down years ago, but fortunately, my sense of humor and libido are still up and running amazingly. I'm Path Girl.
I am Count Boogie, and thank goodness for that, especially when you do Muppet singing while riding him. You have to. You have to. I'm now stuck on it. I can't even proceed with the show. You have to.
I make no promises.
I mean, I'm not saying like scare him with a finger up the ass when he's not expecting it or something, but just come on. Come on. Let me live through you. Weren't you working on a play scene?
Yes, actually, I am, for the first time in a very long time, Doc is having a party, this coming weekend, and, usually I'm the one that kind of takes the back seat for scenes, and I'm like, I texted him this today, and I'm like, hey, life's been lifing, so could I please, could we talk about a scene for Saturday? He's like, I was thinking about the same thing on my bike ride yesterday. I'm like, good, we'll negotiate when I see you, okay? I have not played with Doc. It has
been a long time since you played.
It's got to be at least a year.
Oh,
it's got to be. I mean, because Catitude's gone 6 months, and we just had our celebration of life, which was amazing. But yeah, I mean, it was probably 4 or 5 months before then. So it's been, even one of my other girlfriends, we were talking, and it's been over a year, and it's just been, obviously their life's been went to shit. But it's just like the way all of our schedules are, or my body's been not behaving. But I'm like, I'm gonna hydrate all week. I need a whip, please. Can I have a whip?
Oh, that's going to make you dance.
Oh,
You're going to have the happy whip dance.
Yes.
Get your code. Well, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that you guys are going to play again. Of course, he had to go through his process, and there's a lot for him to deal with, and you just kept it at the friend level at that point. But
I mean, he's been playing with other females in our group, but it's just the couple of times where he didn't want to stress himself out. He's like, I'm only doing one scene, or there's been parties where other women have come up to him, and he's basically like, or even 1 or 2 men that he's topped. He's like, I don't have the bandwidth for it right now. I was like, can I give you a rain check? And he's been very slowly been kind of cashing in those rain checks, going, hey, we're going to a party. We're both going to be there. Do you want to do it? So he's putting himself back into the scene, but gently, but it's just kind of like, okay, now it's my turn. Please, I need to be beaten. Please. And thank you. Please.
A whip in your barbed wire. Doesn't he have the barbed wire paddle?
Yes, he does. We have not played with barbed wire yet. That might be something I'll have to talk to him about.
A little bit or vampire gloves. When's the last time you had a vampire glove on your...
Oh, God. The last time I probably had a vampire glove on me when I was up in the mountains with everybody in November.
Okay, you're due for some bleeding. By the way,
actually,
I take it back. Listeners,
I take it back about 3 months ago. About 3 months ago. But yeah, it's a way overdue. Way overdue. Please.
It's been way overdue. For our newer listeners who are just joining us, We are talking about some kinks that are maybe a little edgier, and whatever vampire gloves have little spiky tacks in them, and you spank with them, and they draw blood. But, everything is on a spectrum and a level. We're going to talk about a lot of other stuff. I just wanted to say one thing for myself, and just some gratitude for a special listener who I didn't know if I could mention her name, but she's hanging out in Germany. Oh, and she always knows kind of when to send me a flirty message, like a nice, supportive, flirty message when I need it most. This last couple of weeks, I'm not getting into it, but it's been a little very awkward for me.
Crazy, yeah.
And so I just wanted to shout out, like, our listeners are so amazing. We don't always hear from our listeners because our audience isn't super huge, and everyone has their lives. But man, when someone reaches out to you and just checks in and says something nice and what you mean to them, and it really does recenter you and refocus you. And it doesn't hurt when you have had a crush on them for like 5 years and totally want to violate every square inch down to their toenails. That's also helpful too. But it's nice. It's nice when we hear from listeners, and so a special shout out to the lady in Germany that has impeccable timing of when those things need to land. Yeah. But fuck it, let's get on to a topic then.
Yeah.
Your dirty minds need to get wise. Be a smarter naughty slut from the stuff we talk about on Reddit.
All right, Path Girl.
Yes.
This is joyful. This is joyful. It's a very common thing. I already know where you and I are. I can almost guarantee where you and I are going to go on a lot of this. But it is kind of important to walk through. So here is somebody who is self-regulating with BDSM while in a relationship. We have heard this. This is something that does happen, and I think there is a silver lining and some very positives to this. I have a partner, this person says.
Right.
We live together and have a happy relationship beyond DS dynamics.
Good.
We also have BDSM scenes from time to time. I'm a sub and she doms.
Okay.
But mostly it's kinky sex with some DS elements. Last few months, both have had a hard time with our jobs and some family issues that takes time and effort, and she's too exhausted to make a big scene for me. As for me, I use submissiveness and pain to calm myself when I am stressed. That is incredibly common and normal. I have pretty submissive fantasies to help me relax at night, and I also tried a few times to add something to a daily life to ground me during the day. It can be corner time when I'm overwhelmed, specific touches every 15 minutes, things like that. It helps me to concentrate and stay calm. I work from home, but it's stressful. I definitely don't want a 24/7 DS relationship, but I feel like I'm doing something wrong with this self-domination, ? But I'm not really okay with sharing this with my partner also. Should I stop? I'd like to hear your opinions and advice about this situation. Oh, dear person. This is this is not uncommon. This is something, the conundrum is not uncommon, but I mean, we're going to give this person some relief. I don't know if they're listening, but I think there's so many positives that are in this. And first off, I'm sorry that you're having stress in your life and, things have gotten out of control in the relationship. It sounds like a happy relationship.
Yeah.
It's just things get busy, and this is a normal part of a relationship. So I will let you go ahead and dig into our fine person first.
Sure. So first off, if I had to talk to this person, it would be basically like, look, what you're doing is not wrong. It's not bad. you definitely should talk to your partner about it because it's something that maybe they can help you through. But if this was an outside the bedroom or outside the kink situation where you both worked very stressful jobs and she went to go play golf for an hour or go to a taekwondo class or went out and drank a cup of coffee and did a puzzle, whatever that activity would be, just to get out of the house and get away from that stress, nobody would question it. So now that we're talking about, it's really, she's talking about having solo play with herself. And solo play is so common with so many submissives. And it is a form of self-soothing. I definitely think she's using it to take care of the stress in her life. And that's perfectly natural. It's perfectly normal. The only little pink flag I have here is because, and I understand she doesn't want to be in a 24/7 relationship. That's just not for everybody. And that's fine. I've been in both. I've been in 24 and not 24. But at the same time, I think it would be something to talk with the partner because you don't want her walking in when you're doing something and go, well, I could do that for you, and kind of getting hurt, kind of getting disappointed or even getting mad, basically like, well, I guess I'm not good enough for you or what have you. And it would be perfectly fine to say, look, I love doing A, B, and C with my partner. But when I'm stressed, I need to do D, E, and F to get rid of my stress. And just let the partner know about it. Just have a conversation. I mean, you're both adults. You're both in a what seems like a very loving and caring conversation. And there may be times she's not available to help you through the stress. And so it's perfectly natural to go ahead and do something. But I would just let her know about it so that way she doesn't walk in on something and go, what the hell are you doing? You know?
Those are my first two things you covered brilliantly. Especially about other forms, like meditation, self-reconnection, reparenting, all of those things. It is really no different. There's no difference in that. Mm-hmm. It's, it just because it's called kink or it's under the guise of like submissive dominance, it really is doing the same thing for yourself.
Yes.
So dismantling that shame about it, if you have shame about it, that's the thing that I want to get into. Mm-hmm. Why do you have shame about it? And is it shame or is it also, are you covering the fact that maybe you feel bad because you want your partner to do this for you? Like you talked about the partner walking in and catching them and the disappointment of the partner.
Right.
But what about the submissive's feelings that you're doing this self-care because everything's very busy and you have this stress? There's a potential there that, is this making you feel bad because you wish she was doing some of these things with you and she can't?
Yeah.
Is that something that's in like you wish that she was able to give you some of these protocols and rituals? Bags of wishels, rituals. And the thing that can be dangerous about that, why I point that out, is you don't want without communication, you don't want this developed into some type of resentment.
Yes.
That she's not taking time for you, or maybe she could, even if it doesn't seem malicious or it seems very innocent now, if these things aren't communicated, if you have a need for something that you in your head know in a normal DS type relationship, whether it's full-time or part-time, that these are the types of things your dominant does with you. And if you're kind of separating yourself from that because of embarrassment, shame, or whatever, there can still be a part of you that even though you're choosing not to talk to her about it, you could still be developing a resentment over it. Our brains work in multi.
Yes,
it's not just one thing. There may be a part of you that's like, she should be doing that. I'm not going to talk to her because it's shameful, but she should be doing
know. Yeah.
She should know. Jesus. Oh, yeah. Nobody's ever been caught in that situation.
No, not at all.
Never. So I'm with you on the fact that that this person needs to talk to their dominant about this, or their partner about this. Ultimately, because here's the other thing. This could be so simple.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, it doesn't always take a giant placing. Like you're finding comfort just from a little bit of corner time or some small touches. Those aren't elaborate placings.
Right.
Would it be better? Would it be more meaningful if you did those things with your partner, which takes almost no effort? Like you could just have like maybe a daily, there's a million things that submissives do to stay connected.
Yes.
And be in their submission. I'm sure you're going to be able to share a couple of them. But you could have a short mantra that you read every day in your partner's voicemail, and that you're giving her your submission, or maybe some meditation, or a picture of you kneeling and saying, I'm meditating on you right now and it's calming me. You know, that really, there's almost no effort that has to be on the dominant's part other than to acknowledge that is your need right now. Because in your relationship, you have a need, you're doing it yourself. But just like you talked about, there could be a disappointment if they found out that they weren't given a chance to at least try.
Right. And it may even be something that like you said before, the dominant, won't do, or maybe something they can't do. And it's just, you have to learn as a submissive to stand on your own, because I know there are times when my anxiety is like going off the charts. And when I used to be collared, I would kind of put my finger around that collar and kind of run my finger back and forth over that collar going, they're still here. They're still here. And that would calm me a bit. I'm not collared now, but there's other times. I mean, Donis is a very happy-go-lucky. I've barely seen the guy get mad. And when shit's hitting the fan and I'm going crazy, he's just sitting there calm. And I'm like, why aren't you going crazy with me? I've had to learn how to regulate myself without him being there. I mean, like, for example, for me, the latest thing I've been doing lately is ice water. If my anxiety is going off the charts, I will either grab some ice cubes, throw it in a container, and just throw some water on it and stick my hands in it, to the point where I've even stuck my face in it. It kind of deletes my brain.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
That's a massage trick too. Yeah.
Really? Oh, I didn't even know. See, one of my old therapists told me that, and like I've even used it with my son. He's starting to drive now, and he was going through his classes, and especially when they're going through like all the different car crashes and drunk driving, I saw the look on his face. I'm like, go in the bathroom, run the cold water, put your hands underneath it, and just sit there until it hurts. Where it's basically like, ow, this is really cold, and then your brain's like, you're not thinking about anxiety, right? So
it is. Yes. I'm sorry.
So
go ahead.
This is something, I mean, we've screamed about it from the high holy hilltops about having communication with your partner. It's going to prevent any problems. They may be able to even think of some things you're not thinking of. Like if you're using corner time, okay, great. Would you want to do something where, you kneel on some rice and that makes it a little harder, or like, but it's just, let your partner try to help you. We've talked about it about, we all get interconnected in these DS relationships, and it's just like, let your partner help you. And it may be to the point where she's like, I don't want anybody to help me. I need to do this on my own. Great. Just put them in the loop about it, because like even today, my fuck meter is at 0. Okay. I basically warned Donis, my fuck meter's at 0, and he knows that's basically, Path Girl's going to go in her bedroom, grab a stuffy, cuddle on the bed, and just go away from the world for a while. And that's how I'm going to regulate myself until I decide to come rejoin the world. Talk with your partner. Let them know, so that way there's no hurt feelings. And that way there's nothing wrong with doing a solo play. In the vanilla world, it's just called self-care.
Yeah, it very, very much is. I love the fact that, I mean, it's like, I don't, okay, I got sidetracked.
Okay.
Wow, now I just completely brain fried. God fucking damn it. Fuck me. Fuck.
No,
doing a talk show is hard. 452 times your brain still just goes.
Now we need to spray that red, like just vomit it all out. There you go.
I'm going to just rub the tip of my dick. That's my collar.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Okay. I feel better now.
We're
grounded
feel better now. Good.
I'm grounded. Yes. Ground and pound. Oh, that's right. Why are you ashamed? Yeah. Why are you ashamed of telling? Do you feel they're going to reject you? Do you feel they're going to, like, what? Are they going to judge you? Is that a judgment you have against yourself in any of these activities that you still haven't kind of dealt with? Mm-hmm. That you feel that this is bad, that you shouldn't be doing this? So there's a little bit of self-evaluation, but I would be like, if you're in a relationship with someone, why would you not? They literally said, I don't want to talk to them about this.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself why. That's what I was going to say before I had to rub my dick to remember.
Well, and even
like
if she doesn't want to talk, I mean, we've given suggestions before about send a text message, send an email. A lot of people I know use a journal, and they'll write something down that's kind of hard where they can't talk it out, and they'll write a question or they'll write a thing, and that person will write a response back, and basically like it's kind of a non-awkward way to basically go, I don't want to tell you this, but here you go, kind of thing. There's ways to communicate it without talking, but it's just. There's nothing wrong with it. I understand a lot of submissives sometimes think that solo play is kind of like, oh, I can't get it anywhere else, so I'll get it from me. And like I need to be dominated. I need someone to take control from my brain to truly let go. There are some submissives that can do that solo play and kind of disassociate a little bit for like, I'm hitting myself, but I'm pretending that a dominant's hitting me, or I'm just like, I'm hitting myself to get those chemicals going or those marks or whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just, I just see it might be a small problem along the way, especially if they don't talk about it. And yeah.
I agree with you.
But it's not
rub
wrong,
the magic
damn it.
Genie tip. Just rub the magic Genie tip and it all works.
It rubs the lotion on the boogie or it gets the hose again.
Oh.
Uncle Creepy lurks around your bedroom. Once you're in his clutch, he penetrates the places where your mama said that good girls shouldn't touch.
Hi, Creepy. How are you doing?
Hello, Boogie. I am quite well with my blasphemy. Thank you.
Thank you. We are not deities. We are not love gods, but we are here to talk about things. We do have a topic, speaking of public events and going into places for the first time and maybe getting in a little over your head the first time, because sometimes, just like you said, there's very different parties, different types of parties. You don't know what you're going into. You have an idea in your head of what it might be, and then it becomes something else. And in this case, you have an idea of who you are, and then you discover that you are different than the script that you have. And this is very important because this is really common to new people. I went through it. I know you've been through this in a sense.
Yep.
And so we're going to be able to dig into this. So it is, how do I deal with regret after a public event? Omnis. But wait. Recently, I attended a public play event at a local dungeon as a solo sub, and being only one of a few female subs, which we automatically know. Yep. You are the belle of the ball. When you go in there, you will receive much attention. I ended up receiving a lot of attention.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no shit. And was the main attraction of the day. This was also my first play event. Honestly, this is what's important about this. This sets the pace for the entire thing. Honestly, I enjoyed every bit of it. I agree. I was in subspace during most of the event, and at times I was not sure of things that happened to me, which I came to know much later when fellow attendees described it to me. Now then, so it sounds like you had a great time. It was great.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't know what was going on. People describing things to me. That's starting to, okay. All right. Yeah, still looking back with fond memories. Forward to weeks later, and this gets weird. And the official photos of the event get posted online. Pictures, including me, were posted with my consent. So far, she had a great time. She consented to photos, which sounds crazy, but she consented to it. Okay. Now then, here's the turn. I feel ashamed seeing what was done to me now. Even though I enjoyed every bit of it while it happened, I regret what has happened. I feel it was way too extreme, as I consider myself a soft submissive. I feel like I let myself go. Can someone explain what is going on and how to prevent this from happening in future events? Or if it's best to stay away from public events in the future? Question mark.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh.
Cut everything out. Just give up. Just give up and go home, everybody.
This is so goddamn common, and of course we're going to be able to get into a little bit of sub frenzy and whatever, but this to me is really personal, And this is personal.
Really?
Yes, this is very personal. And so I'm going to address this from a personal thing. Obviously, if you've been in the community a while, you see maybe she jumped in a little quick and, got in, blah, 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 blah. But that's not really what I'm reading here. There's something very significant happening. I've been through it. You've been through it. Most new people that come, and when you leave the fantasy and you go into the reality, because in the fantasy you have all that programming from your world. You're going from your world as you know it into the real time of this curiosity that you have about yourself. And sometimes there's a major, major crash and conflict with that. And I'm going to talk about that. So I'm going to go ahead and let you start with yours.
Well, so I have a question for you right off the bat, because I didn't find so I know what a soft top is,
right?
But I'm guessing soft submissive is someone that doesn't like hard play.
Yes,
would that be correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to make sure
this is her definition of how she views herself or wants to view herself,
right?
Which is foreshadowing to what my thing is going to be.
Okay, so here's what I see from the information that we have.
Okay.
It seems like this person definitely knows what they were getting into.
Sure.
They looked up the nomenclature. They looked up exactly what they were going to experience. They knew the word subspace. They knew soft submissive. They knew all of the different things that would have happened to her at this dungeon. So I'm going to guess that she probably did enough research.
Okay. And
when she jumped in, everything that she had built up in her head just went out the fucking door.
Right.
That's the part where I can see it being very similar to what I've experienced, where I have an expectation of an event and I get to it and everything that I had thought was going to happen at that event is gone and out the door.
Right.
So looking at what she's done here, there's a couple of things that I'm just like, what are the official photos and why were they of because I know events will have pre-photos, outside, fully dressed, sort of maybe some stuff, but I don't know about events where they have pictures being taken during the actual event.
Aftermath. And here's what your neighbor, the senator, did. Here.
Can you imagine? Or here's me in the background holding a fucking 14-inch cock that I'm about to cram up this guy's ass.
Yeah. This is
my wife doesn't know.
And once again, this is something you and she said she consented to it and that she was okay with it, which once again, I don't want to judge. Don't think it's a good idea for a new person to do these things unless you've really, really examined what your life is going to be, because these photos will never go away ever. So if you have anything in your future, if I'm a kinky person, so of course there's pictures of my dick and all sorts of crazy stuff I've done out there, and I've accepted that and worked through that. But when you're new and people are there with cameras, you got to be real careful of making sure you don't go to those types of events if you have something to hide.
Yeah.
But that's just aside. That's just aside from this. But yeah.
Yeah. There's an event in the major city where I'm at where it's very close to the public, and sometimes public people will come in and they don't know the rules and they start taking photos and oh, look at, I'm next to a cross and there's stuff in the background. So that's something that I'm very, very well aware of and very on guard about, because I can't have, especially with Mina, she cannot be seen in any of this stuff.
Right.
So, but I also am confused because I've never experienced subspace, and maybe you've touched on it with your partners before, but if I remember subspace, explain to me, it's like a floaty, druggy feeling, but you're still with your faculties for the most part.
It depends on the level. It's like any type of intoxication. There's light subspace where you're just a little happy and mellow, and then there's times where you should not be driving a car, you should not be left alone, and I think we've both seen people that are really, really deep in subspace, and they actually need to be taken care of.
Yeah, but they've never explained or never said to me that I don't remember anything that had happened. So that's where
yeah. Because we also don't know if there was drugs and alcohol allowed at this party.
Thank you.
Or so
exactly.
Which once again,
this sounds a little bit.
You and I are kind of like, and some people are like that. We all got high, and I don't remember half of it, but they told me shit that I did, and I was high and I was loopy, and there's people that are totally cool with that, and I can't judge that. But I can surely say the risk factor goes astronomically higher when you add drugs and alcohol and into
and how it's not for me.
Yeah. It's just not the type of party. I surely wouldn't work a party like that. I could attend that. I don't have to drink or use myself, and my partners don't either. But the risk of things going bad at alcohol, drug induced parties does escalate. And so not always, but it, just like a bar. I mean, how many asses get grabbed in a nightclub, because people, blah, blah, blah. That's another distraction, from this. But
yeah, but it just, this is where I'm starting to see is all the information posted online, because she still seems new, and this might not be something that she took into account, is that this could have also happened from, drugs and alcohol.
Sure.
I was thinking, just be aware that this will exacerbate any subspace and the feelings of this happening, I think. But I don't have the information. So we'll just assume that it was all subspace. Everything was hunky dory. And then, so I wonder, because sometimes I get that twinge of, oh God, I've just assaulted a human being.
Right.
I've physically caused pain and physical harm, well, not harm, but like damage to this person. I've beaten them to bruising, to blood. I've cut into people. And sometimes a couple days later, and I'm assuming it's the type of drop that I experience. It doesn't happen often, but I'm just like, Jesus, I'm a fucking pig. I'm disgusting. I can't believe I hit a woman,
right.
Of all things.
Absolutely.
Like, that kind of feeling came back. So I feel the shame. I think this is a normal part of the experiences of these events and the activities that we do. So I don't think that she should ever feel ashamed for doing something that you like. And just one more point, like it also may have pointed back to, like you said, how you came into it with all of the things that built you, religion, how you were raised, all that stuff could come in.
Absolutely,
and I have to fight that. Yeah. Okay. So I have to fight that because my parents were like, you don't hit women, even if they're hitting you. You don't do any of that stuff. That's wrong, and you're a very bad human being if you do it. So I had to fight for several years to even like spank a woman's ass,
right.
and without feeling horrible. Like, even if they were like begging me, like, I need this, I want this, so it just happened to me, you watched it happen, do it to me. And I'm just like, I can't. I'm a bad person, and then I go crying off.
Well, and that's where this is exactly where I'm going on my side into the identity portion of this. So you just touched on everything that I've gone through, because of course I'm an ex-Christian preacher, and and you were taught never touch a woman, never do these things, and it comes
turn the other cheek.
Yeah, turn the other cheek, all that stuff. But what that really says here is this is an issue of identity. And we see this a lot, and a lot of people experience this. You come in with all that programming that you were talking about, your religious, your family, your societal, and you come in and you're like, well, I'm a little kinky, but I'm not that kinky, because you still have to have some sort of mental script that has a line in it that says, well, this, because you have all these voices, these programmings that say you're a bad person if you do this. So you've now created this script for yourself that says, well, I'm a soft submissive, so I don't do any of the crazy, crazy stuff, so I'm still a good person. So when you come into a situation like this, and all of a sudden you realize, I fucking loved being a primal animal. I love all the crazy stuff that in my mind, I'm telling myself, I have now crossed a line in my script. You didn't defile your primal urges. You went with your primal urges. This is part of who you are. And now you're having a regret about that because you've now just faced the truth of your identity and that you are more intense or you are different than you want to be or you want to project yourself to be. And that is so common. That is so many indications beyond kink. We do that in our life, in our jobs, in our family, in our hobbies, in any groups of people socially that we are around. We hold ourselves to our script or to the script that's being put on us and programmed into us. And so she just ran into that script, and I've seen this dozens and dozens and dozens of times, to where she's literally like, oh my God, I actually like this. How do I never do this again? So now she's trying to rewind and pretend it didn't happen. That's the regret. She's trying to undo the fact that, oh my God, I'm actually a total whore. This is awful. I can't tell, because she realizes that she's been, in a sense, misleading herself. I don't want to say lying to herself because she hadn't experienced these things before, but she's been misleading herself to believe that she was a certain way when, in fact, there is a part of her that is primal, that is unclean, that is impure, that is free-spirited to a point of doing things that no good person would ever do. You're breaking that societal script. And for a lot of people, internally, there's a massive struggle with that. And people have left the lifestyle exactly because of this. Should I just not come here anymore? Because if I come here, then I'm going to be tempted to do the thing that I really am. And that makes me feel bad about myself because I want to be a soft submissive. I want to be a decent person. I want to be a gentleman. I want to be somebody that feels like I care about women. And even though there's this real part of me that totally wants to degrade someone, that totally wants to make them cry and feel these things. And until you can come to that place to where you go, I am all of these things. I don't get to lie to myself and say that I'm something that I'm not anymore. I have to accept that these parts of me. Now then, of course, ethically, we can come in and go, hey, how do I be this crazy, creepy pervert and find people that want the same thing that I want? And, and that comes into all the consent and negotiation and do it. But I can't deny the fact anymore that there is a part of me that I look down on because I was programmed to look down on it. And that's an identity issue. And we all have to deal with that. Yeah. She can absolutely go one way or the other. She can choose to try to stuff this down, and people go into that type of denial and all sorts of things in their lives. All sorts of things where people say, no, I'm a good this, I'm a good that, I'm a good mom, I'm a good dad, blah, 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 I'm good at this, I'm whatever. But you know what? There is no one title. If you're going for some sort of grade, that means you're actually not living in truth. You can be a good mother, you can be a good provider, a good listener, and still do things that fuck up your kids. You can still do things that are good. But if you're looking for some overall identity of yourself, I am good, you're going to ignore and be in denial of the things that maybe you need to work on. Because you want so bad to just be, you know what I'm saying? You just want to be called good. Yeah. I just want to be good. Instead of saying, I just want to do the best I can and be accountable for the bad things that I do so that I don't do them anymore. I don't want to do things that harm myself. In this case, I'm sorry. I read this and I'm like, hey, you do you. I'm glad it worked out and you can sort of look back on it. But there was 100 things that I would have been like, super risky first time thing for anyone, male, female, doesn't matter. You went into you went in really aggressively, and that's very common for these types of regrets to happen. She jumped in with a giant splash and said, I'm going to do all the things. And that's where we can get into the sub frenzy top frenzy kind of top. So you want to comment on that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've dealt with that stuff. When you were talking about the regret earlier, I believe it's very similar feeling to buyer's remorse when you want this thing and you go and get it and you have it and everything's great, and then you're just like, oh fuck, I just spent $6,000 on a new microphone, and what the fuck am I going to do with it? And all the feelings have worn off. So I think that's I don't know if how that translates to this, but it feels very similar to where everything's wore off and you just feel that negative side of it.
Yeah.
And you hit a pretty on the spot nerve for me, because when I first got into this lifestyle, I was like, well, I'm a dominant. That's what I'm going to be. I'm dominant, period, end of story. And I forced myself into that box. Every time I went to an event, I was a dominant. I told people I was a dominant. And every time I did something that was forced as a dominant, blew up in my face.
Yeah.
And when I started being honest with myself and being truthful with what my desires were and what the desires of other people's were with me, I was able to create better scenes and have more closer connections and basically lose these feelings of regret. I don't feel those things anymore. Like how we talked about this, privately before, like I was like, I just don't drop anymore, dude. There's something wrong with me.
Right.
I think it's just comes from the natural, course of my, BDSM journey, that I've come to a place where I know what I want. I'm able to dictate it to others for the most part, and negotiate to where I know what I'm getting out of it, and I can get it out of others too, and they are happy with what happened. So,
well, absolutely.
I just wanted to talk about.
I think you're being more authentic. I think that's really for me. That word is the gold for me. That gold is worth more to me on whether or not I'm good or bad. I don't want to be good or bad anymore. Obviously, I want to do more good things than I fuck up. But to me, if your goal is to be authentic with yourself, then that means you're willing to see and be accountable for the negative things that you have.
Yeah.
And therefore, you can more quickly address those things and become more who you really are, what you really are,
authentic.
The whole package of Count Boogie and Uncle Creepy. We get to be all these things. And then that's just like you said, that's where that regret all of a sudden doesn't have any room to really live and breathe, because that regret kind of feeds off that program of identity that you should be this, you should do this, you said you were this, you got to live up to this. But when your goal is authenticity, you can say, that's a goal of mine. I would love to be that. I would love to be a lot of things that I'm just not.
Right.
But being authentic means that I can say, well, where are my desires and where's my reality? And that's just a much more natural, less stressful place for me to be.
Yeah. And, if you keep that authenticity around, I think you're able to better experience these things and know your limits, which will keep, I believe, this type of thing where you black out. I mean, you're so far gone that you just have no idea, because that to me, as an ethical predator, I just was like, you have no idea what people will take advantage of you for.
Yes.
That.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tough to I mean, how easy is it to say to somebody, hey, you got to be authentic and come correct, as the kids always say. And what do you tell to somebody, be like, hey, you need to be authentic? How do you explain that to other individuals besides yourself? Because for me, it took me years to figure that out, Boogie. Like, how do you explain that to somebody?
The quick trick for authenticity is to start listening to your cues to yourself, because you get those little twinges. This isn't right. I don't feel right about this. This is good. At that moment when you feel those little twinges, is this me or is this a program? Is this me or is this a program? There's a million different ways this can play out. When you're like, well, like for you, you're like, I'm a dominant. Is this real? Or is this just how I want to look at myself?
Interesting. You say that. And so I had a conversation with my partner Plushie the other day.
Right.
I won't talk about what it was about, but I said something and they were like, well, hang on a second. I'm having a reaction to this that I don't understand where it's coming from.
Great.
And they totally paused me to like say, hang on, let me understand this feeling before I talk to you about what's happening.
Great.
And there was a little upset, and I just stared at them. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's happening right now? Like, am I experiencing some sort of really cool, transcendent, like introspection? And it was just like really cool to see somebody pull back and be like, hang on, I have to make sure this feeling is authentic and not just a reaction to what you just said to me. And you mentioned that, and I was like, damn, Boogie, that's very familiar to me. And yeah, I think if you process those reactions, you know, not even real time, but authentically each time they happen, I feel like you'll get better and better where you can recognize those feelings and just process them easier and be authentic about it. That's pretty interesting.
And what's interesting about what Plushie did is she was able to stop the script, because the script says when you're having a conversation, you say something, I say something, you say something, I say something, and then we bang, 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 and then everything's perfect. But breaking that script by saying, hang on a sec, I need to process this. That's very real. Because that gives you a chance to then say, is this real or bullshit? Am I just responding because I feel I'm supposed to? Because I've done that a bunch of times. Like, I should be angry now. That sounded disrespectful. I should have a feeling about this. This person doesn't care about blah, blah, blah. But then is it really them or is this me? And once again, this mode of self-questioning goes across everything you're going to do in your life, not just your kink and your kink relationships. If you just take that pause and you go, what's really going on here?
Yeah, man.
What do I really think? What do I really feel? Is this something that really matters to me? Is this voice that's telling me that I should be this and that and that? What's the value of that? Does that really, or is this something I thought about? Because, I mean, that's a whole another bag of worms we're carrying around. We've talked about this before, where we're carrying around all these programs that don't even apply anymore. We haven't even defragged our hard drive since we were kids, you know? So we still we still believe all this stuff based on the fears, insecurities, and programming that we had years ago. And sometimes you just have to go, do I really believe that anymore? Why do well, back then this and this happened and I got scared or angry or hurt, so I'm protecting myself from that, but I've already grown past that. That doesn't bother me any. I've done a lot with that, where it's like things that used to bother me because I had a lot of fears and insecurities about it. Like, now I don't give a shit, you know, and I'm like, but I'm still doing the same behavior because I'm just programmed to. And I had to like look at it and go, what? That doesn't even bother me anymore. Like, what? Why do I keep perpetuating this feeling because of something that I don't even feel the same way over? And that's, once again, that goes into authenticity and just taking that pause and asking yourself, what do I really feel? Is this my belief or is this somebody else's belief for me?
Yeah. I've touched on that a little bit with my other partners, where I've said my past trauma has built who I am now.
Right.
And what I'm doing is I was so safe in knowing, like, that was my trauma. I know what's going to happen, so I'm not going to let anything else happen because I know the safety of that past trauma and that I can get to this point with it. So anything else is scary and I don't want to experience that. Right. So now, to kind of get myself away from that past trauma, I started doing stuff that I would never do.
Right.
And see and experience, and then going, okay, well, that didn't work out. I don't want to do that anymore. And now I know. Or that was great. Let's keep rolling with that. That feeling happened. So let's talk about that. But everything else is great. So, it's especially with, Mina wants to start experiencing more partners.
Right.
And some of them are going to be male.
Right.
And I know exactly how I'm supposed to feel, and I know exactly how I think I'm going to feel, but I've been very honest with my feelings with her and saying, hey, here's exactly what I'm feeling right now, and this is the way that I will feel safe with this.
Right.
And we discussed some of that came up, said, like these rules never applied to me, to Mina, for me. Like I was able to go out and sleep with other women, and we discussed Mina's feelings and stuff. And at first she wasn't being honest with herself, but we got all past that, and she's okay with it now with the certain parameters being felt. So I put in some she's like, hey, what happens if we go to the swinger party and a penis owner wants to sleep with me, to fuck me? And I kind of went through each process going, well, I would feel better if this happened, like she wanted to kind of sleep with a penis haver that she didn't know. So if she's like, I don't like this, I don't want to deal, I can't handle this.
Right.
She could just back away. And I was like, well, on the other hand, I feel like it's a little bit of using somebody, and maybe if it's somebody that that's a little bit more known in the community and is able to, like we can come to them and say, hey, this is what Mina wants to experience. These are my feelings. Would you be okay with having that?
Creepy.
So that kind of, yeah.
Dude, do you want me to make love to your wife?
We already talked about this. You said you didn't feel comfortable. You were.
Oh, really? I don't even remember that. I totally thought that would freak you out. No. God damn it.
No, remember when you talked about this with Spike?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when I was dating Spike?
No, but we didn't talk about that with your wife.
I don't know, Boogie. She likes you, so fuck me,
I like her too, but yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. But I mean, the funny thing is about, well, I don't want to use somebody at a swingers party is hilarious, by the way.
I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, I was Boogie, like, huh? I'm so sorry.
Huh?
But like,
that's kind of what that a swingers party is for, to do.
We still talk about the emotional aspects.
Yeah. Explore. I mean, the point is you're going into these feelings, which, by the way, I won't. I'm not going to say you're a bigger man or a better man. I'm just saying I won't. So you have to do your process how you do your process, and Mina's right there with you, and so eventually you feel that's going to happen relatively soon, and depending on how authentic you can be with yourself, you're going to find out exactly what you can handle and what you can't, because it's going to show up.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be fine in this sense. Maybe it will be, if you don't really know him and I don't have to ever talk to him again, it was just like a fun, fucking run kind of thing. That's going to be easier. Or if you're like, no, I actually feel like I would rather have it be like more of a metamorph thing, to where this is somebody that I respect, and therefore I feel that, blah, 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 whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
You're going to find that. And, or you're going to be like me and you're going to go, I have found no path to this. I have found no path.
Yeah, but you took that journey though. Like you still took that path in a way.
I still tried.
So yeah, you tried really well, and you were just like, nah, it just isn't going to work.
And once again, I'm not getting in relationships. If I'm not in a relationships, that's what I've found. I can have a lover. I can have somebody I care about very deeply, but I'm not in a technical whatever relationship 24/7 thing. And then I'm much better at it. But once again, This is just being authentic with yourself. And I think this person in this situation is going to have to just face the fact that too late, you found out you're kind of a whore. Kind of like to do a lot of crazy things that you didn't think you did. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not a bad person just because the voice in your head says you're if you would have hurt somebody, if you would have done shitty things to somebody, okay, now we can have a talk. But the fact that you liked something that you thought you weren't supposed to, please don't shame yourself for that. That's bullshit.
No.
That's not,
It's not authentic, and it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and it's just going to end up hurting you, or it's going to end up leaving you with an oppressed life where you avoid things that you know you would really love or that you're really drawn to because you'd rather follow a script.
Yeah.
Which is your choice, but I'm not going to do it.
Not me, bud.
The day I want to suck a dick, I'll go suck a dick and not ask anyone's fucking permission.
Amen to that.
Just,
it's not going to be mine.
Today, no, probably not going to be yours. Probably not. But if it is, then that's where I'm going to go.
Hey, yeah. Amen to us.
Yeah.
And amen to sluts.
Amen to sluts. God damn it.
This is we witnessed a slut wakening.
Slut wakening.
And, yeah.
It's true.
And I was happy for that part. So I'm glad we were able to discuss this.
Well, there, we cured it.
Yep, we cured slut wakenings.
Rubber.
Oh, please, could you stop just rubbing your dick when I'm talking? I have that visual in my head, and I hear that.
We ever do it with I love how I'm talking to you. You're like, no, Boogie, I actually don't have my own penis. Like, you just grab it with one hand, and then you just kind of rub in a circle around the top. And it's not really, like, super sexual. It just feels funny. And you're like, just like that.
Just like that. And just like that is the end of show 452. God help us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions or comments or topics you'd like us to talk about, please reach out to us at pervertedpodcast@gmail.com or find us on TikTok and Instagram under the name Perverted Podcast. And on FetLife, there is both a group and a page. Please help support the show by liking this episode and subscribing to the show. And don't forget to share the show with your kinky friends to help other kinksters like you find us. And if you'd like to support the show a little bit more, please go to our Patreon at patreon.com/pervertedpodcast, and you get to sign up for our $5 if you give a fuck level, where you become a pee-pee sugar zombie. And with that exclusive title, you get our shows a few days early.
Rub your penis. Rub your penis.
Yes. Okay. With that support, you get our show a few days early, and you get our Patreon exclusive half pee-pee episodes with extra Uncle Creepy. And it's only for our illustrious patrons. And of course, love and smushy kisses to our patrons around the world. Your support means the world to us.
You guys are all rock stars, and we'll see you on the next big show.
Bye-bye.